Your daily fix of women's mixed martial arts from the UFC, Invicta FC, Bellator, and one championship. Be in the loop, because Golden State Media Concepts got you covered. Get your fix on women's MMA with Got You Covered on Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
All right, now, thank you for tuning in to the show dedicated to women's mixed martial arts. Golden State Media Concepts, Women's Mixed Martial Arts Podcast. I'm your host, Tate. And who do I have with me?
I'm your host, Sarah. How are
Sarah,
you doing?
my host. So how's the day going today?
It's going okay. I'm a little congested. It's spring, so the allergies are, the allergens are everywhere, and the allergies are kicking my patootie.
It is. Did you just say patootie?
Well, we run a clean show here.
I'm like, what the heck exactly is a patootie? I know what a booty is, but not a patootie.
It's a patootie, the thing you're sitting on.
Okay. Well, you're talking about allergies in summer. And, being on the West Coast, we have that benefit of, that nice weather. But, last week, the week before last, the East Coast was getting hit. Has it gotten any better? Do you know?
Yeah, I think they're getting rain now instead of snow. Which
is better, rain or snow?
It depends. When it switches from snow to rain and you get the slush and the sleet and the freezing rain, that's gross. And dangerous.
Yeah, I grew up in Ohio, and it was, once the rain comes down, it's just, it's all icy and slushy. I'm not really that keen on it. That's the reason why I moved to California.
I agree. I grew up in Montana, and it's just as gross and cold and slushy and wintry and mud.
But Montana is a whole different kind of cold. It's that, it's 40 feet of snow outside.
Yeah, but you have the lake effect, all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's
no
different.
crap.
We don't have all the humidity.
Yeah, if you live in the Midwest, anywhere between Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago, you learn that the wind coming across Canada and then into across the lakes, it's just brutal.
You know how when people live in Arizona, they say, but it's a dry heat. Well, when it's 20 below in Montana, I can say, but it's a dry cold.
I don't care. I'm not into dry. Anything cold. I don't even like popsicles.
Oh, but popsicles are so fun.
Yeah, I don't. I'm the weird guy that don't even drink ice water. I prefer water room temperature.
You do like room temperature water, which is a little weird to me. But
yeah,
you'd fit right in Europe.
Yeah, I will. If someone hands me like a cold bottle, I'll let it set for a little while until bring the temperature up.
Interesting.
So, all right. So, didn't mean to go too much on the tangent on water today.
Water, weather.
We're just covering the basics here.
Allergies,
sniffles, patooties.
I think we covered everything. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.
Good night, everybody. Okay, so today we have it's going to be an interesting show, and where I'm going to talk about some of the events in the news. It's going to be three, and they're three kind of popular fighters, and Sarah's going to kind of answer more of the questions, and I'll throw my 2 cents in. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the very first one, and it's one of your favorite fighters. It's one of my favorite fighters. We're talking about Miss Ronda Rousey.
Okay.
And there really hasn't been any news whatsoever about Ronda Rousey whatsoever. So, sometimes you're kind of grasping at straws and say, "Ooh, Ronda Rousey just, there's an inkling of Ronda Rousey." It's like Groundhog Day. She saw her shadow and she came out. So, what this news one is for is Dan Garner, who is a strength and nutrition coach, very popular with a lot of MMA fighters, just announced that he is going to start working with Ronda Rousey.
Okay.
Does that mean that Ronda is considering coming back? What's your take on the fact that she's hired a brand new strength and nutrition coach?
Well, it seems like she's leaning toward coming back. I mean, it's interesting that he made the announcement that, that we still haven't heard anything from her or her camp. But would he have made the announcement why would he be? I could see that he could be working with her, but why would he necessarily make an announcement that he was going to be working with her unless...
Ronda's a big name, and so,
true.
Being able to work with Ronda Rousey has a lot of cachet.
True.
And, if Ronda Rousey decided to come by our studio to pick up a pen to write a phone number down, it would be on our show tomorrow.
Well, that's true. Yeah, it'd be way more interesting than our allergy story.
I'd be like, Snapchat.
Do you know how to use Snapchat?
No. I had
but
Ronda
you'd
Rousey.
learn for Ronda Rousey,
Yes.
wouldn't you?
I had a Ronda Rousey with bunny ears and all kind of stuff going on.
Okay, so I like that there's a possibility that she's coming back. I mean,
So do you think that's the kind of the inkling that you're getting? Is that maybe she is thinking about coming back and she's starting to get her ducks in a row as far as bringing in a new person? Or, here's the big or, is it Ronda Rousey getting a strength and conditioning coach just to stay in shape and staying fit for her movie and acting roles?
Maybe.
Or,
does she have any acting roles that she's currently involved in or coming up?
yes, as a matter of fact, she's doing a show right now. It's completely escapes me right now what show she's on. Or what movie that she's working on, but yeah, she is currently working on it's either a movie or a show or something. But she has a few things that she has going on.
Okay.
I have another or.
Okay.
I saw in a interview on ESPN, and it was his and hers, and Stephanie McMahon was on there. And Stephanie has made no bones about. She knows Ronda Rousey is a big WWE fan, and she would love to have her. There's always a place open for her. Or is that Ronda just trying to get in shape because maybe there's a WWE future going on?
Well, it sounds like clearly she's trying to get in shape for something, even if it's just for herself. But I think we've got some intriguing possibilities. I kind of hope she's coming back.
Do you hope that she's coming back?
I have mixed emotions on that one. I mean, I would like her to come back, but not if it's gonna just. I don't know. I don't know how to. I don't want to sound like Debbie Downer. I don't want her to come back just to lose. But because it seems like her confidence has just been shaken, and so. I'm the people person, and I always feel bad for people, even when, I'm watching fights and those sorts of things. I put a little too much emotion into it. But I don't, I want her to come back if she's confident, if she's feeling good, if she, but I don't want her to come back and then lose maybe once, maybe more than once, and kind of end that way, because I think that would diminish her overall legacy. Right.
Well, okay, as far as Ronda coming back, I would look at it as this. It depends on how they bring her back. I think Ronda, if Ronda was gonna make a comeback, I think it would be important that she gets a couple of fights under her belt that are winnable fights. And I know it's hard to do that in the UFC, but there are some fighters out there that are kind of tailor-made to Ronda's style that could get her a win, get her confidence back up, and get her moving so that, she can get a couple wins, and then you can move her to some stiffer competition and maybe even get her back into title contention. So, I do think there's a place for Ronda. The question is, if Ronda came back and she won a couple times, that would be great and huge. But if Ronda loses, would that be just the end of her legacy?
Right. I think that's the sticky part for me, and where I get stuck in that conversation. So let me turn it back around at you. If she is thinking about WWE, and we have this is just us chatting. This
is totally the gossip segment of the GSMC Women's Mixed Martial Arts Podcast.
Right. Do not go out and say, "Hey, I heard on this podcast that." No, we're just chatting. But if she were to go to WWE, maybe on a regular basis, what do you think about that? Do you think that would be a good move in her career?
I think it would be an ingenious move. As a matter of fact, if I was Ronda, I would run straight to Stephanie McMahon. I'd sign a couple, a year or 2 year agreement with them. Really get her going as far as it would be really helpful for her brand and helping her with movies without the risk and danger of stepping in the ring with the Amanda Nunez's and the Cris Cyborgs of the world. Because make no mistake, if Ronda comes back, there's 3 fights that everyone's going to want to see. They're going to see Ronda, or 4. They're going to see Ronda with Miesha Tate. They're going to want to see Ronda with Holly Holm. They're going to want to see Ronda with Amanda Nunes. And they're going to see Ronda with Cris Cyborg. And so those are the 4 fights. But she can go to WWE. She could be a big star. And no offense to, I cannot think of his name right now. The WWE wrestler that tried the MMA and then it didn't.
CM Punk?
Yes. I don't know why CM Punk his name skipped my mind, but it shows that, I mean, you can be an athlete, and Ronda is an athlete. She's a world champion athlete. So she has the name, she has athleticism. She could be a huge star. It would help her movie career. And then if she wanted to take a little time off and then get back to in a year or 2 and go back to MMA, her next fight would be enormous. So I just look at the WWE, and since it's WrestleMania coming up here, it's worth talking about WrestleMania and Ronda Rousey and all of this. But I just think it's the perfect fit.
I might even tune in to WWE at that point. I don't watch it very often.
I would totally tune in. I'd be tuning in every week. I'd just be flipping through. Is Ronda in yet? Ronda in there yet? All right. So I just wanted to, just because that issue kind of came up, so I wanted to see what your take was on that. When we come back, we're going to talk about Cris Cyborg. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Okay, we just coming back here. You're listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Women's Mixed Martial Arts Podcast. And this episode is just going to be more of a lighthearted episode. As the first topic we talked about was just Ronda Rousey and the fact that Ronda Rousey has brought in a new nutritionist and strength and conditioning coach. And then that also talking about the fact that Stephanie McMahon has been consistently talking about how she would love to bring Ronda Rousey onto the roster with the WWE. Our next topic that I wanted to talk about is recently, last week, or this past weekend, Cris Cyborg gave up her Invicta title that she had, and she's officially going to be no longer part of the Invicta roster, and it makes her, and everyone knows she's the main contender for any title she wants. And this weekend, or this week, yesterday, as a matter of fact, or was that today? No, it was today. She did a video in which she says, she pretty much in so many words, I'm healthy, I'm strong, and I want to put on a show for my fans and show them why I've been undefeated at 145 for 10 years. And she puts out a full a challenge to Germain de Randamie that she wants to fight her in July.
So is this a follow-up to her initial challenge? Was that just sort of a throwing it out there challenge?
Well,
and now she's done a whole video on why she wants to fight Germain?
It's just putting another shrimp on the Barbie, pretty much. It's just saying, the first stage 1 was giving up the Invicta title. Stage 2 is making a formal declaration that I want to fight you, and I want to fight you in July. What's your thought on her coming out with the video? How do you think it would go? Give me your thoughts on a July event where Germain de Randamie is fighting Cris Cyborg.
So July's what, about 3 months away now?
Yes.
Yes. So I guess it depends, like we were talking on the last show, how her hand is, how Germain's hand is doing. If she has to have surgery, we don't know that yet. So that could be a kink in the works. It depends on that. But then, 3 months, that's fine for a training camp. They would both have time to get ready. It's interesting that is this how it's normally done? I'm new to MMA a little bit. I've been watching it for a while, but is this how it's normally done? I mean, I know people call other fighters out like during their interview, their post-fight interviews, but do they normally just go on to? Is this on social media?
I believe it was a YouTube video that she.
Okay.
I think it was not YouTube, but it was. I think it was a tweet.
Okay. Still, do they normally just go on social media and say, "Hey, I want to fight X, Y, and Z"? And
to be honest with you, I think more women and more fighters in general, forget about women, just fighters in general, need to toot their own horn and promote themselves more. I think it's a lot of fighters do not do this, but a lot of fighters are, even after a fight, they're afraid to say who they want to fight. The worst answer for any fighter, and I know there's a number of fighters that have started following us, and any fighter out there that's actually listening to this, the worst answer in the world you can give is, I'm willing to fight whoever Dana White wants me to fight or whoever the UFC wants me to fight. If you're trying to move up that ladder, call your step and make it be known so that you can get a fight. The only way you're going to get a big money fight is to call it out. And so, no, I think it's the right move. It's it's kind of one of those things where I think Cyborg is everyone knows that Cyborg's next, and the title was created for Cyborg. So whenever she's ready to fight, she was going to get that title shot. The thing is just kind of letting, like, any question that about her health, or, initially when they first came out and they wanted her to fight Germain and for the title, and she wasn't up for it. Turned out it ended up being the USADA situation. But I think this was where her way of saying, listen, all that crap with USADA is behind us. I got the exemption. I'm really healthy. I'm at my peak. Let's do this. So pretty much that's what I think it was.
Okay. Well, I think it'll be interesting to hear if Germain responds. How she responds and what she has to say. If she wants to fight, well, I don't know.
Of course she
does want to fight Cyborg, of course.
Well, I don't know if anyone really wants to fight Cyborg anymore right now.
But, right. But she wants to defend her title.
Well, okay, and let me ask you this. I mean, as far as Germain goes, Germain has been a top fighter for a long time in Muay Thai, and she's been phenomenal. How do you think she would do against a Cris Cyborg, who is a big, strong bulldozer?
I think if anyone can hold their own against Cyborg, it would probably be Germain. I mean, she's a great fighter. She's got good footwork. I think what needs to happen is that somebody actually needs to make it through the first round with Cyborg, because she gets in there and she just, flattens them. So if they can work through that, I think it would be really interesting.
Well, I went back and I can't remember the fight she lost a couple years ago, the Muay Thai fight. And the one thing, if you're gonna stop Cyborg, like you were talking about her footwork, that's what you're gonna need, because you're gonna have to be able to move out of danger, strike at, get angles on her, and catch her off guard. And so, Germain has that ability. I think that the footwork, you're right, is one of those things that I think could be the way to get to Cyborg, because Cyborg's going to come at you. She's going to cut the ring off and she's going to chop you down. But when you look at like Ronda Rousey when she fought Holly Holm, the one thing that Ronda can come right at you and she can barrel you over, but she couldn't handle the footwork that Holly was doing. And then Holly was catching her at angles. Ronda would come crashing in. Holly would step to the side, rotate around, and then nail her at an angle. That's the same way that Holly, I personally think, the same way that Holly got Ronda would be the best way to try to approach Cris Cyborg, because you're not gonna say, if you're Germain, I'm going to just stand toe to toe with her, because that's not a good move. She's not gonna say, I'm gonna take her to the ground, because for Germain, her ground game is not gonna be on the same level as a Cris Cyborg. So the one thing I think is right is footwork. Germain has that footwork. Germain has that high end striking ability, which makes her very dangerous.
Okay, well, I think it's probably going to happen sooner.
Do you think the July time is going to happen?
That I don't know. Again, we have to see what's going on with Germain's hand, and if she's ready to fight by then.
I don't think that I don't know if the hand's going to be an issue. I haven't heard.
We haven't heard anything on it, so
no. It hasn't been anything about the hand ever since she made that announcement, and then no one's ever heard anything more about it. I haven't seen anything about Germain in her hand. Right. So, all right. So when we come back, we have one more topic that we're going to talk about, and our entertainment version of Golden State Media Concepts Women's Mixed Martial Arts Podcast. The next person we're going to talk about is Paige VanZant. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Okay, we're back, and we've been talking about some of the more popular fighters in women's mixed martial arts. And so we just covered Ronda Rousey. Then we talked about Cris Cyborg. And next, we're going to talk about Paige VanZant. They announced that Paige VanZant will be on a Celebrity Chopped All-Star show, in which she'll be competing with other sports athletes to show off her cooking skills, and with the potential of, if she won, she would win $50,000, which she would donate to her favorite charity. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I love Paige, and I love Chopped, so what's not to like?
Wait, and before we start, let's give a little more clarification of what Chop is, just in case someone hasn't seen Chopped. Do you want to give a...
Sure.
Okay.
So Chopped is a cooking competition where chefs come in and they are given, in 3 rounds, they're given 3 mystery baskets. They have to use whatever is in that basket to create, usually it's an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert. And they have to use, there's usually 4 items in the basket. They have to use all of those items in some way. They have to transform them in some way. And so they get these crazy combinations like, you know, your basket will have halibut and figs and Parmesan cheese, and then something really random like Cheetos. You never quite know what's going to come out of that bag.
I would lose right out the gate because I'd be like, ooh, Cheetos. And I would eat, as I'm cooking, I would eat the Cheetos, and they would not end up on the plate.
You'd be all covered in Cheeto dust. Just going up to the judges.
I'd be like, hashtag Cheeto dust.
Well, I think it'll be, I mean, it's a fun show. It's fast paced, and someone's eliminated each round. So then there's usually on these all-star editions, they have 4 episodes. So the winner from each episode then goes, they all compete together to win that $50,000. So you have to win twice in order to win the whole thing. And I think it'll be fun. I have absolutely no idea if she can cook. I assume she can, since she's going on Chopped.
I hope she can cook. If the first round she comes out with, a grilled cheese and I don't know, biscuits or something. I don't know what she'll come up with.
Which would be funny if it was just grilled cheese and she used nothing from the basket. That would not be a good thing. Now, I will admit that I did watch her on Dancing with the Stars, and I loved her on that. So she's got a great personality. I think she'll be fun to watch no matter what. She's
an amazing competitor, and some people may not be a big fan of hers and may not be happy with all the notoriety that she gets, but she's a super nice lady who she's shown that she can win, and she may not be Joanna Jędrzejczyk or something like that, but she's a tough fighter who has star appeal.
She does, and I don't see, people get a little snarky about things like this sometimes, and, you never know if it's just why they're angry. And if you were saying earlier that fighters need to promote themselves better, and if these opportunities come your way, I don't see why you wouldn't take them. Keep your name out there.
Now, I'm going to say this, and
I never like these caveats.
Here's my caveat here. I want to sabotage Chop. You know how they have those mystery ingredients?
Yeah. You want to sabotage it in general, or you want to sabotage it because Paige is on it?
I wanted to sabotage it because Paige is on it. And I want to say, just in case Paige listens to this, I love you, Paige. You're fantastic. But I want to pull Paige off, and a surprise when everyone's expecting Paige VanZant to show up. The mystery cook comes out, and it's Tanya Evinger.
That's Tanya Evinger. So you've changed it from mystery basket to mystery chef.
Yes, mystery chef. I want Tanya Evinger to come out. Matter of fact, I just saw an interview after Invicta where she was saying that she wants to buy a food truck and drive around and cook in a food truck. The heck with the food truck, Tanya. I want you on Chop.
Well,
you're my Chop champion.
Didn't they once have that food truck reality show? Maybe she could be on that.
No, I want her on Chop.
You want her on Chop?
I want everyone to be expecting Sweet Paige and Tanya to show up.
Well, should we...
Tanya with a meat cleaver and and a butcher block. Let's go.
Shall we talk about the other people who are going to be on the show with Paige? She says, moving on.
All right, who's gonna be on there with her?
Well, figure skater Dorothy Hamill. I love Dorothy Hamill, figure skater from my childhood. So that's exciting.
Tanya can kick her butt.
In MMA, sure, but put some skates on Tanya. I don't know if she can skate.
Even with skates on, I would still take Tanya against Dorothy Hamill.
I love you, Dorothy. I'm sorry if you're listening to this. And then NFL player Lamar Woodley and Olympic gold medalist Mariel Zagunis.
Okay. Okay. So
all, as you said, all athletes.
Which would you rather turn into? Tanya cooking with Paige? As a matter of fact, I say here's my chop championship. You let Paige stay on, bring in Tanya.
I think they should do an all MMA.
All
chopped.
women's MMA. You know what? I mean, because we're a women's MMA show, I'm not saying anything sexist. I'm just saying bring in Paige, bring in Tanya. All right, let's say you bring. Wow, I just made it. Let's say. All right, bring in Cris Cyborg because she can Portuguese kicking.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's.
And then, you gotta just bring in Megan because she's from Australia.
So you're having an international chop.
An international MMA chop, and I'm still taking Tanya to win it all.
Okay.
How did this subject become about Tanya?
You?
Who brought up Tanya?
I don't want to point any fingers, but he's sitting to my right.
Yes. But, I mean, as a whole, Chop is one of my favorite cooking shows. I'm a big time, I love to cook. And I've been doing, my own version of Chop for years, even before Chop was even on, in which I would just go through and make food from whatever I had in the kitchen. So Chop was always one of my favorite shows because I love cooking, from scratch. So,
and I'll throw it out there that he's very good at it. I mean, so that I can attest to the chopped abilities of whatever he has in the kitchen.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, do you think she can cook, though?
I assume so. I mean, most people that go on that show have some experience. Like Layla Ali was on, if you want to. She's the closest comparison I could make to an MMA. She's a boxer, of course, and she talked a lot about her love of cooking. Most people don't go on that show unless they love to cook and have some background in cooking.
Honestly, though, when you think about it, I think an MMA fighter, male or female, would be horrible at Chopped.
Because they have to cut weight so much.
Because they're so used to eating crappy food to stay fit and trim and to cut weight. I remember seeing things where, I remember you talking about Megan Anderson eating, just the same thing every single day as she trained, or eating like she once a week she would eat a pound of bacon.
My arteries just hardened thinking about that.
There's been so many other fighters that have such strict diets that it would have to be like if I'm doing a true who are going to be the guys that could actually cook in the MMA and compete. I'm going Mark Hunt, the Black Beast.
Who's the guy? I can't think of his name.
Brock Lesnar.
He's got I can't think of his name. He fought they went out for sushi before their fight. Like most people are trying to cut weight.
And Bigfoot Silva.
Bigfoot, yes, and Big Country.
Oh,
Big Country.
No, you're right. Big Country, Black Beast, Mark Hunt, and Brock can put it back. So I'm putting Brock in there for star appeal. That's my Chop championship right there. Because those guys, they're not cutting weight. They're not, like the night of the fight, they're eating a double pizza, they're with double dough.
But on the other side, don't you think that maybe after a fight, the fighters, let loose a little bit, so maybe that's when they explore their cooking sensibilities?
Because I think about some of the other some fighters that I think of is like Ronda Rousey, and one of the things she's like, I just want a beer. There's another fighter who's just like, I just want a pizza. It's not like they're like, I want snow crab with truffle oil. No, that's
do not use the truffle oil on Chopped. The judges go crazy. They hate truffle oil.
Yes, if for some reason on that show you use truffle oil, that's like using steroids in MMA. You're just disqualified. I don't know what it is, why they have a thing against truffle oil, but on Chopped, I have never seen someone use truffle oil and
advance to the next round.
Yes. Yeah. I bet you if they put truffle oil in the basket, they would chop everybody. This episode has just been canceled.
This episode or that episode?
No, that episode.
I was thinking this episode has just gone in a really weird direction. We started off with weather and allergies and patooties
and we're gonna finish it with truffle oil.
Tanya Evinger and Big Country.
Oh my God, that would be the best chop. I was about to wrap things up, but you just made my head explode. Black Beast, Tanya Evinger, Big Country, and I don't know. We need
another woman just to round things out.
I need someone that's you know what? Let's see. Yeah, I want Joanna Jacek in there too. She just stare at everyone in the corner by the deep fryer, just like.
She does have that look, that mean mug look.
She just stares at you by the deep fryer like you come over by here and you die.
We gotta wrap this up.
On that, we conclude our news episode of the Women's Mixed Martial Arts.
News episode?
The entertainment news for the wow, I couldn't get that out. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's Mixed Martial Arts Podcast. Once again, I'm Tate.
I'm Sarah.
And to all, a good night.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Women's Mixed Martial Arts Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.